Good morning, everyone. I'm Mark Halpern, host of Next Up, filling in today for Megyn Kelly. Great to be here. It's Thursday, September 25th, 2025, and this is your AM update.
I can confirm at this time that the FBI is investigating this incident as an act of targeted violence.
A shooter opens fire on an ICE facility in Dallas, killing one and injuring others. Court documents reveal FBI agents recovered classified documents from former National Security Advisor John Bolton's office. And Ukraine's President Zelensky reacting now to the apparent shift in President Trump's Russia messaging.
It is neglect of the highest order to look children in the eyes and say, we knew how to protect you, and we didn't do it.
And Ben Affleck's daughter scolds UN officials demanding a return to COVID mask mandates. All that and more coming up in just a moment on your AM Update.
I want to talk to you about Jevity. In my career, I've learned that information is everything, and the same, of course, applies to our health. Having the right info makes all the difference. That is where Jevity comes in. It's not just another health app. It's a longevity and health optimization platform that uses your health data to build custom care plans for your unique needs. Jevity creates personalized supplement packs based on your specific blood work, and they provide ongoing guidance to you. No more fragmented healthcare or wasting money on random supplements hoping something works. This platform analyzes essential biomarkers, giving you comprehensive health data, all accessible from home. So go to Jevity.com/Megyn and get 20% off with code Megyn. That's GoJevity.com/Megyn. All right, you got to put the word go first. Go, GEVITI.com/Megyn. In a world of one-size-fits-all solutions, Jevity brings clarity, personalization, and scientific precision to your wellness. This is not just healthcare. It is healthcare reimagined with you in mind.
A shooter opening fire on a Dallas, Texas ICE facility yesterday morning, killing one and injuring two before turning the gun on himself. Authorities confirming no law enforcement officers were injured in the attack. Instead, all three victims are ICE detainees, the two survivors now in critical condition. According to authorities, the attack occurring around 6:40 a.m. local time, a sniper positioned on a nearby rooftop began firing indiscriminately at the facility, including towards a van in a secured entryway. Fox News reporting the victims were inside the van when they were hit. Multiple news organizations identifying the shooter now as 29-year-old Joshua Yawn, his body found dead with a rifle nearby on a rooftop. Authorities recovering shell casings near his body. FBI Director Kash Patel releasing a photo showing one shell with the words anti-ICE written on the side. Special agent in charge of the Dallas field office, John Rothrock, at a press conference Wednesday morning.
I can confirm at this time that the FBI is investigating this incident as an act of targeted violence. It is unfortunately just the most recent example we've seen of targeted violence, to include here in North Texas, where back on July 4th, we saw a coordinated attack carried out against an immigration detention center in Alvarado, Texas.
Special Agent Rothrock referencing there a July 4th attack on an ICE facility, at least 10 people armed with tactical gear and weapons allegedly attacking the facility, shooting a local law enforcement officer in the process. That officer is expected to recover from the injury. Yesterday's shooting marking at least the fourth violent incident or threat against a Texas ICE or Customs and Border Patrol protection facility this year, as President Trump ramps up immigration enforcement efforts, aiming to conduct the largest mass deportation effort in U.S. history. Democrats ramping up their rhetoric. Here, a sampling of some Democratic talking points from recent months.
Every single ICE agent who's engaged in this aggressive overreach and are trying to hide their identities from the American people will be unsuccessful in doing that. This is not the Soviet Union. We're not behind the Iron Curtain.
When I see ICE, I see slave patrols.
We will continue to call out the terrorist organization that is ICE.
If everything is legitimate and proper, why are you wearing masks?
This is not Germany. That's the SS and the Gestapo.
They're acting more like vigilantes than of agents of our government.
Homeland Security reporting a 1,000% increase in assaults against ICE agents, including doxing campaigns, compared to the same period in 2024. In March, several ICE agents doxed in Southern California, leading to widespread use of masking by agents. Earlier this week, California Governor Gavin Newsom signing into law the so-called No Secret Police Act, attempting to ban law enforcement officers from covering their faces. Governor Newsom Tuesday on Stephen Colbert's late night show saying left-wing rhetoric on immigration enforcement is not hyperbolic.
Masked men jumping out of unmarked cars, people disappearing, no due process, no oversight, zero accountability happening in the United States of America today. People ask, well, is authoritarianism, you're being hyperbolic? Bull, we're being hyperbolic. If you're a black and brown community, it's here in this country. And so I'm deeply proud that I had the privilege of signing the nation's first bill to address the issue of masking. Also to require, you have simple identification, to your point. I mean, if some guy jumped out of an unmarked car in a van with a mask on, tried to grab me, I mean, by definition, you're going to push back. And so these are not just authoritarian tendencies. These are authoritarian actions by an authoritarian government.
Vice President J.D. Vance at a Wednesday event in North Carolina, slamming Democrats in the wake of the shooting, calling out Governor Newsom directly and by name.
It is time to stop the rhetorical assault on law enforcement. Because here's what happens when Democrats, like Gavin Newsom did, say that these people are part of an authoritarian government. When the left-wing media lies about what they're doing, when they lie about who they're arresting, when they lie about the actual job of law enforcement, what they're doing is encouraging crazy people to go and commit violence. You don't have to agree with my immigration policies. You don't have to agree with Donald Trump's immigration policies. But if your political rhetoric encourages violence against our law enforcement, you can go straight to hell and you have no place in the political conversation of the United States of America.
FBI investigators recovering documents with classified markings in last month's raid of former Trump National Security Advisor John Bolton's D.C. office. That's according to newly released court filings. On that same day, a team also raiding Bolton's home, although it is unknown if any classified information was recovered from that location. According to the filings, the FBI seized documents referencing weapons of mass destruction, the United Nations, and strategic communications from Bolton's office. Several of the records marked as, quote, confidential or secret information as described in the court filings could reasonably be expected to cause serious damage to national security if it's disclosed without authorization. Politico reporting the confidential designation is used for routine diplomatic communications. Bolton's attorney, Abby Lowell, saying in a statement, quote, these materials, many of which are documents that had been previously approved as part of a pre-publication review for Ambassador Bolton's book, were reviewed and closed years ago. Lowell then going on to describe the records as ordinary, saying many are 20 years old or more and are the typical records of someone who's been in government over a 40-year career. It's unclear if the recovered documents have been previously declassified. This raid is the latest development in a years-long saga over potential wrongful handling of classified information related to Bolton. The Justice Department under Trump 1.0 unsuccessfully suing the former National Security Advisor to stop publication of his memoir, alleging it contained classified information. Now, many on the left calling the investigation into Bolton just one example of an authoritarian overreach, they say, by a president too happy to use the Department of Justice as his own personal police force. However, last month, the New York Times reporting U.S. intelligence agencies under President Biden collected information appearing to show that Bolton sent emails with sensitive information to people close to him on an unclassified system. Information relating to that alleged hack is redacted in the newly released court filings. Bolton is being investigated under the Espionage Act. So far, no charges have been filed. Coming up, Vice President J.D. Vance weighs in on President Trump's apparent shift on his stance towards the Russia-Ukraine war, and Ben Affleck's daughter makes a masked appearance at the United Nations, begging world leaders not to forget about the 2020 pandemic.
The flu does not wait, and neither should you. When sickness hits, you don't want to be scrambling for medication. You want to be ready. You want peace of mind, knowing your family is protected. And that's where All Family Pharmacy comes in. These guys make it simple to stock up before you need it. So when the flu or a virus or any illness comes, you already have the treatments on hand. Right now, Ivermectin and mebendazole are 25% off, starting at just $2 a capsule. Plus, save another 10% with code MEGAN10. They've got over 200 medications to choose from. Antibiotics, hydroxychloroquine, antivirals, NAD+, methylene blue, and more. They even offer emergency kits with essential medications so you're prepared for anything. Just order online. They connect you with licensed doctors to get your prescriptions and ship your medications straight to your door. It's so convenient. Go to allfamilypharmacy.com/Megan and use code Megan10. Again, that's allfamilypharmacy.com/Megan. Use the code Megan10 to get your discount when you check out. Protect your family, be prepared, and stay safe.
Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky saying he was surprised by President Trump's Tuesday Truth Social post with a drastic shift in messaging by the president on the Russia-Ukraine war. President Trump suggesting for the first time Ukraine could actually win the war with the help of the EU and not have to give up any of the land Russia has taken in the process. Mr. Zelensky telling Fox News he believes the sudden shift is a result of passing time, allowing more U.S.-Ukrainian communication, and allowing President Trump to learn Russian President Vladimir Putin's true intentions.
It's good that we have often phone calls and meetings. And I think the fact that Putin was lying to President Trump so many times also made a difference between us. We are ready to finish this war as quick as possible. But he understands that Putin doesn't want, and he understands that he is not winning, but he says to everybody that he will win. And I was very positive signals from the side that Trump and America will be with us to the end of the war. President Trump tried not to close this diplomatic possibility of negotiations with Putin. Putin, as always, he just, I think, he just used this situation. He got images with President Trump. He sold to his audience, Russian society, you see, I'm shakeable with the United States.
Just over a month ago, President Trump and President Putin meeting in Alaska to discuss bringing the nearly 4-year war to an end. President Trump then announcing a desire for Putin and Zelensky to meet face-to-face as soon as possible. But no such meeting ever materialized. And in the weeks since, Russian attacks on Ukrainian civilian populations have intensified. In addition, Russian fighter jets and drones recently entering the airspace of NATO countries, including Poland, Romania, and Estonia. President Trump on Tuesday at the UN General Assembly in New York acknowledging the difficulty in bringing the war to a diplomatic end.
I've also been working relentlessly, stopping the killing in Ukraine. I thought that would be, of the 7 wars that I stopped, I thought that would be the easiest because of my relationship with President Putin, which had always been a good one. I thought that was going to be the easiest one. But, in war, you never know what's going to happen. There are always lots of surprises, both good and bad.
And Vice President J.D. Vance in North Carolina on Wednesday, casting the shift as an acknowledgement of the reality on the ground.
And one of the things I'll say about the president is that he is responsive to the reality on the ground. And I believe the president is growing incredibly impatient with the Russians right now because he doesn't feel like they're putting enough on the table to end the war. That's number one. Number two, the president has grown very confident that this war is bad for Russia. You hear me say this all the time. You hear the president say this all the time. The war is bad for Russia. It's bad for Ukraine. It's bad for America. He sees the economic numbers that are coming out of Eastern Europe. He sees the number of dead people, both Russians and Ukrainians, that are happening in that war. And the president is telling Vladimir Putin it is time to stop the killing. But look, if the Russians refuse to negotiate in good faith, I think it's going to be very, very bad for their country. That's what the president made clear. It's not a shift in position. It's an acknowledgement of the reality on the ground. We're going to keep on fighting for peace every single day in the Trump administration.
Here's something a little different. The daughter of celebrities Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner, 19-year-old Violet Affleck, at the UN on Tuesday, begging world leaders to bring back mask mandates. Violet, outfitted in a KN95 mask, obscuring most of her face, accusing policymakers of stealing away children's futures.
But when it comes to the ongoing pandemic, Our present is being stolen right in front of our eyes. For adults, the relentless beat of back to normal, ignoring, downplaying, and concealing both the prevalence of airborne transmission and the threat of long COVID, manifested in a series of choices. It is neglect of the highest order to look children in the eyes and say, we knew how to protect you, and we didn't do it. We have access to a technology to prevent airborne disease, something that millions of our ancestors and millions of people around the world today would kill for, and we refuse to use it. And I shudder to think of where we will be in another 5 years of unmitigated infection and reinfection.
Violet pointing to her own mask as she referenced the available technology to fight airborne disease. While these remarks sound like something out of the 2020 time capsule, they were indeed made just this week, 2 years and 4 months after President Biden's administration declared an end to the national COVID health emergency. This appearance reminiscent of the much-memed 2019 UN speech by Greta Thunberg when she dropped her famous, "How dare you?"
You have stolen my dreams and my childhood with your empty words, and yet I'm one of the lucky ones. People are suffering, people are dying, entire ecosystems are collapsing. We are in the beginning of a mass extinction, and all you can talk about is money and fairy tales of eternal economic growth. How dare you?
Well, that'll do it for your AM update. I'm Mark Halpern, host of Next Up. Megyn is back tomorrow, and you can catch the Megyn Kelly Show today live on SiriusXM, Triumph Channel 111 at noon East, on YouTube at Megyn Kelly, and of course on every podcast platform ever invented.